Beautiful. Hello everyone and welcome to the Gameweek 35 deadline stream. Thank you so much for everyone that has been able to jump in here early. Today we're going to be going through our team, discuss some transfer plans for future weeks, of course answer your guys' questions, go over predicted lineups, all the good stuff. Have a look at some manager comments as well throughout the week about some potential players. Kevin De Bruyne will be talked about as well. He's obviously a big player that's been out recently that didn't get much of a flag from FPL either. Diogo Jota as well. We'll discuss him. A couple of other players that have picked up injuries there as well. And sort of just prepare the team, get everything ready to go before the Gameweek 35 deadline. Josh, hey mate, how you going? Good to have everyone in the stream. As always, if you've also joined the stream, leave a vote on the poll as well. Who is everyone captaining for Gameweek 35? I suspect Haaland's a popular pick. Kane and Salah, though, to be fair, two other solid options. So it'll be interesting to see if people do go for the differential captaincy this week. First of all, let's have a look at how we got on last week. We'll pull up the team. Overall, not a bad week for us. Could have been a lot better. We scored 124 points, which was decent. I would have thought average of 82 is not too bad. But the main thing that I was really frustrated about is De Gea and Luke Shaw. Both of these guys lost the clean sheet in the last minute to Brighton, a 90+9 penalty in that game. If this man here didn't give away the penalty with a handball, then it would be absolutely golden. That would have been an extra 4 for De Gea, an extra 4 for Luke Shaw. De Gea would have got triple bonus points. And Rashford would have also got an extra point for the clean sheet. So that would have been 12 extra points that we would have gotten had Manchester United not conceded. And considering that De Gea and Luke Shaw are such big differential options, it is very painful to not see them get the second clean sheet in the double game week. But nonetheless, still a solid game week rank, 285k. Once again, could have had 12 extra points up to 136. But it's now, I believe, 7 green arrows. 7 green arrows in a row over a 100k green arrow this week up to 315k. Trying to make a late push towards the top 100k after a very bad start to the season. As you can see here, after game week 17, from the World Cup break back, huge a couple of red arrows here. Didn't have Rashford in the side, which really hurt. And we were loitering around that 1 mil rank for quite a while, but then we've tried to make a good push for the top 100k, but hopefully we can get the job done. So still nonetheless, 124 points, not the worst week. Can't really complain about that, apart from the fact that Manchester United should have got the clean sheet there. And March and Matoma probably should have got a few more minutes as well. Solly March hopefully will start this week, considering he's hardly played any minutes. He's played less than 90 minutes across his 2 fixtures in the double game week, so he should be very fresh and ready to go. Matoma did play 90 minutes in his most recent game against Manchester United, so hopefully he gets a start. We did see him get rested in his first fixture of the double game week. Also just wanted to touch on Kevin De Bruyne injury news as well. I'm just trying to read the Pep comments here. He said he's trained yesterday and he trained well. Today we're going to train and we're going to decide after the training today. Missing just 1 week, 10 days at this stage of the season is not a problem. It's the same with what happened with Nathan Ake. If he's fit, he can play. So that was the comments about Kevin De Bruyne. Also with Edison, he's ready to play against West Ham tomorrow. We'll decide. Pep Guardiola, that was his comments on Edison there. So that was after his midweek benching, which was a bit unexpected to be fair. But Kevin De Bruyne seems to be like he's going to be good to go for this week. And I'll actually discuss a bit more about Kevin De Bruyne coming up as well, because he's also going to be in the transfer plans. As you can see here, those Man City fixtures are really, really good. 35, they got Leeds at home, which is this week. Then Everton away is a good single. A really good double, in my opinion. Chelsea at home is a really, really good fixture. And Brighton away is also a good one as well. So I think De Bruyne is probably going to be a player that's in my transfer plans. Maybe for Mo Salah. Saying that though, Salah 18 points in the double game week. Was very happy with him. And he's got some really good single game week fixtures coming up. So maybe we look to hold Mo Salah for the singles. Or Kevin De Bruyne could be the good player to replace him for the doubles. But here is the team for Game Week 35. Triple Manchester United against West Ham. Triple Brighton against Everton here in the middle. I like the triple Brighton this week. I think March should definitely be playing close to the full 90 minutes, especially since he's played such few minutes across his double. Matoma, I'm hoping he can start, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's benched. And Estupiñán, I think, should hopefully start as well. He did play 90 minutes in each of his last 2, and he's pretty much not missed a game at all for Brighton in his last 10 or so now. Trippier does get the start as well, despite not putting up many FPL points at all recently. 6 consecutive blanks for Trippier, but he remains in the team. Otherwise, pretty solid side this week. I'm happy with how the team's looking. Salah's got Brentford at home, which is a really good fixture. I was initially going to go to De Bruyne, actually in Gameweek 35, but after Salah put up 18 points and De Bruyne had those injury concerns, I think De Bruyne will be back this week. I'll actually check Man City's predicted lineup as well. I'll get De Bruyne's percentage chance of starting, because that'd be interesting to see. Plus, Man City's predicted lineup's always fun to look at. But I was initially going to go De Bruyne in for Leeds at home, but I'm sticking with Salah. Josh, thoughts on Jota, mate? Hoping he's fit, but a bit of, if not wondering if it's worth a punt on Alvarez switcheroo. Yeah, that's going to be interesting as well, actually. I'll go over the comments for Jota. Klopp said on Friday that Jota has been able to train, but hasn't done much in the way of contact work, so that's not a great sign. The specific quote, he has his back issue, bruised rib. He could train yesterday, but he didn't do a lot, to be honest. He was not really endangered yesterday with any kind of contact or stuff like this. We'll have to see there. So I'm guessing Jota is going to miss this week, just based on the fact that he hasn't had a great training. I'll pull up the predicted lineups for both Liverpool and Man City. I'll start off with Liverpool, just with Jota. I'm guessing he's not going to have a great chance of playing, but I'll see what Fantasy Football Fix say. Yeah, they've got Jota on the bench, actually. They've only got him at a 33% chance to start. Man City's predicted team: Edison, Ake, Diaz, Akanji, Stones, Rodri, Mahrez, De Bruyne. De Bruyne has been given a very good chance to play, so hopefully he can start. Grealish 100% as well. Foden 66, Haaland 100%. So that's good to see. So I think De Bruyne is good. Alvarez doesn't look like he's got a good predicted chance of playing. He's been given a 9% chance to play, which is interesting. So we'll have to see about that. He has been in some really good form, but yeah, it's definitely a bit of a risk going with Alvarez. Should I keep Chelsea players? Personally, the only Chelsea player that I look to have right now would be Kepa in goals, just because I don't like any of their outfield players at all. I think they're either overpriced or just not in good form. Chelsea do have some good fixtures, though, to be fair. Bournemouth away this week's really good. Forest at home next week's really good. Then the double is not great, couple of fixtures, but at least it's a double game week. Then Newcastle at home is probably not the best fixture either, but from a defensive standpoint, you would be expecting Chelsea to get at least 2 clean sheets in these 4 games for sure. But, I mean, once again, it's Chelsea. They've been super inconsistent. So Kepa would probably be the only Chelsea player that I look to keep, just because when you're comparing him to other goalkeeper options, yes, De Gea is good. You could go to him, but once again, a little bit more expensive, and you've got a keeper with 2 great fixtures coming up and a double. So probably would hold on to Kepa. Otherwise, most of the Chelsea attackers I'm steering clear of. Also, everyone drop a vote in the poll as well. Let me know who you're going to captain. 92% on Haaland. We've got it on Haaland as well. Leeds at home is a very good fixture. Also, we haven't used any transfers this week. I'm looking to roll the transfer. Actually, I'll pull up FPLflare as well to try and show you guys my transfer strategy for the rest of the season. It's basically all about just getting as many double gaming players as I can, really. That's the strategy. Not too much to it apart from that. We'll try and toss in a couple of differentials as well. Here is the team. We'll make a couple of changes, so it's the same starting 11. There it is. That is it there. Haaland captain. Next week, we'll have 2 free transfers available. As you can see here, we'll have 3 Brighton players doubling. Botman, he's going to be doubling, which is good. That's why I'm happy to have some of those Newcastle players. Double Man United defence against Wolves at home. I'm pretty happy about as well. I could look to go to De Bruyne that week. Actually, Everton away, Leicester away, similar difficulty. I think Leicester away is probably slightly easier, but Everton away is still a really good fixture as well. So maybe I move to De Bruyne that week. If not, it's going to be the week after. So with the 2 free transfers, I'm probably going to look to get rid of Ollie Watkins just because his fixtures from Gameweek 36 onwards not great. So we go Watkins out. Whether I go Wilson or Isak, I'm really not sure right now. I think I'm going to have to base that decision off who starts this week. I'll actually just check the predicted team for Newcastle right now, see what Fantasy Football Fix is saying between Isak and Wilson. It's given Isak 72, Wilson 28. So that's interesting. They seem to alternate starts. So maybe I'll go for Isak for now, just because I like his starting minutes a little bit more. He's actually now cheaper than Callum Wilson, which is interesting. So the Isak there with the double. Maybe we go Luke Shaw out just to avoid the double up on defence, even though, yes, it is against Wolves at home. I still like everyone else. That gives us triple Newcastle, triple Brighton. That's 6 players doubling. De Gea with Wolves at home. Rashford with a good single against Wolves. Kane, Haaland, Salah. They're 3 excellent premiums, even though they're all at singles. I still like them playing. I think we do that. Gameweek 37, still have 2 free transfers available. Luke Shaw can come back in. That's triple United doubling, triple Brighton doubling, Haaland doubling. Probably want to try and get in another Man City player double. So it's probably going to be Salah to De Bruyne Gameweek 37. That's another Man City player doubling. So that's what? 8 doublers, unless I've miscounted. Yeah, 8 doublers, Kane, Isak, and Trippier being the 3 single gameweek players. So that's a pretty solid team. I could even look to go Isak to Alvarez maybe as a little punt. But I could also look to go for Grealish as well in midfield. That's going to be quite risky, to be fair. He did get good minutes in the double game week recently. So maybe Alvarez is worth a punt. I'm not sure. Josh, Everton sandwich win 2 games against Madrid, so may not play. Yeah, that's also a fair point as well. There's going to be plenty of fixtures for Man City, which could also appeal or make Alvarez a better option by the time Game Week 37 comes around. Because there is going to be a fair bit of Premier League action for Man City in way of Champions League and Premier League. So you'd expect maybe some Haaland rotation, but probably not. If not, it could be some Mahrez, Grealish, Foden rotation, which could see Alvarez step in. So maybe this is the way forward. Maybe I don't want to go for a Man City defender or Grealish. Maybe I go for Alvarez. That could be a strategy. That's a really good team for Game Week 37. You'd hope Alvarez starts at least one, and when he's starting, he's scoring most weeks. He's extremely good per 90, Alvarez. I'll give him that. Any confirmation on Haaland starting from your City, mate? According to Fantasy Football Fix, Haaland's got a 100% chance of starting this week for Game Week 35, which is really good. So I think he's a safe captaincy option this week. Darab here, I'm away at 10, so I won't get an early team news. So I'm guessing I'm rolling Salah captain as a differential. I'm at 287k, so I need to climb rank. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point as well. Our rank is not looking great right now. 315k is not ideal either. Maybe we go Salah as a differential captain, saying that Leeds at home is such a good fixture for Haaland. And I think I've got a couple of good differentials around the team. Kane only has a 12% ownership into the top 10k managers. Watkins has been very heavily sold by managers, only a 19.8% ownership in all of FPL. That's quite low, actually. Into the top 100k, Rashford's fairly template. Matoma's very template. Salah's pretty template. March is roughly 50% ownership. Trippier's pretty template. Stupidan's moderately template. Luke Shaw's got about a 50% ownership inside the top 10k, and De Gea is very differential. So essentially this week, I need Kane and Watkins to do well. I need March to do well. And a Manchester United clean sheet would definitely go a long way to giving me a strong green arrow this week. It's really just come down to the Manchester United defence. I was fuming last week, if you missed me ranting about it earlier on in the stream. De Gea and Shaw robbed of the clean sheet in the last minute. That would have been massive for my points. De Gea would have got triple bonus. Add 4 to these guys. De Gea gets 3 more. Rashford gets an extra clean sheet point. That's 12 more points last week if Luke Shaw just doesn't handball the ball in the last play of the game, essentially. So very frustrating there. Could have been so much bigger of a green arrow with 12 extra points. I think we're only 1 or 2 points off 300k, so not many points separate the rank right now. So yeah, it could have been a lot better. But going back to the transfer plans, maybe this is the team we go with. Alvarez could be a really good option with Man City Champions League fixtures, assuming they do advance to the final. Even if they don't, in a double game week anyway, there's going to be some rotation in the side, which I think you'd probably see Alvarez step in. If he can just step in for one game and come off the bench for 20 minutes in another game, I'll be more than happy with that, to be honest. Sebastian, hey bro, how's it going? So his team is Kepa, Trent, Stones, Estupiñán, Matoma, March, Salah, Rashi, Grealish, Haaland and Watkins. And I'm thinking Kepa to De Gea. You could do that move, but Kepa is still a fairly good option as well. If you've got 2 free transfers available, then maybe you make that move. If you've only got 1 free transfer available, then I would recommend rolling. I still think Kepa, he's probably the only Chelsea player that I look to hold for the rest of the year. No outfield player from Chelsea appeals to me. They're too overpriced and they're too inconsistent in their point scoring. Whereas Kepa, he's a good price at around 4.6, and he does have a good balance of save bonus as well. But otherwise, your team's really, really good. You got Stones there in defence. He's going to be a good option. He should be starting most games as well. Actually, he's playing an interesting role right now where he's getting pretty far up the pitch, sort of playing a midfield role for Man City. So he seems to be pretty nailed in that spot actually right now. So maybe Stones is a good pick. Maybe we get rid of Alvarez. Maybe we go for Isak, but just pretend we had Isak back in there, so that we still have 1 free transfer available after making De Bruyne. Maybe we go like a Botman or Henry to Stones. How much we have? 1.6. He can easily afford that move. Maybe we bring in John Stones. We could also bring in, I believe we can afford Diaz. What's he at? Exactly at 6. So Diaz, obviously the safer option. He's been getting way more minutes, or just a lot more consistent minutes. Maybe we go Stones or Diaz. We'll go Stones for now, but once again, it could easily be Diaz. Probably is going to be Trippier unless I go for Isak. I'd probably go Trippier though, just because Newcastle haven't recorded that many clean sheets, and Leicester at home is probably a better fixture from an attacking perspective than a defensive one. So that's a really good team. At that point, it's 9 double Gameweek players, triple United, triple City, triple Brighton, with Isak and Kane as the singles. And then Gameweek 38 comes around. I can probably go triple Man City against Brentford away. Maybe Trippier drops to the bench again. It's obviously not ideal having triple Newcastle. We probably swap either Isak, Botman or Trippier for another player who's got a good fixture Gameweek 38. I should just filter by Gameweek 38 fixtures now. We'll see who's got the best. Arsenal, Wolves at home is pretty good. Maybe we go for Gabby Jesus. Can we afford Jesus in the team by that point? Probably not. 7.4. He's just out of the range. Brighton, we've got triple. Crystal Palace, not many great options. Liverpool, to be fair, not many great options either at that price. So maybe we look to go for a defender. Maybe we go for an Arsenal defender against Wolves at home instead of Trippier and play Isak. Like a Saliba or something like that. Maybe a Zinchenko or something. A Ben White. Ben White's been getting goals and assists recently. Maybe that's what we do, just as an example. And of course, if there's injuries as well, that'll change. But yeah, Gameweek 36, Watkins to Greenwood, Matoma to Rashford. I think Matoma's still a good option to hold. Yes, I know he got rotated last week, but I still think he's going to be playing most games in the run-in for the rest of the season. I'd still be looking to hold on to Matoma. I can see the frustration just because he's been benched the last couple of weeks, but I'm still keen to hold on to Matoma. Even if he only plays 1 fixture in his doubles, he's still going to be a good option. Yes, Rashford is absolutely compulsory, but if you can get him in for someone that's not Matoma, that'll be a really good transfer plan. But I agree with you, getting Watkins out around Gameweek 36 is probably the way forward. This week, if you've held on to Watkins, this is probably the only week left for the season where you'd really want to start him. Spurs at home, you could maybe start him, but it's not a great fixture, is it? Brighton, Liverpool, Spurs, 3 pretty tricky fixtures. Wolves away is probably his last good fixture of the year. So if you're gonna keep him this week and then move him on, that'd probably be my attitude towards him. Firmino could be a great punt for Gameweek 38 as they play Southampton away, and it's the last game for the club. That's also a good consideration as well. Can we afford? There we are. Who do we? White was for Henry. Bang. So that was it for Henry? No, it wasn't. Was it? Who was there? Trippier. So then it's Isak. 6.8. I feel like that was not the case before, but we could potentially go for Firmino as well. Yeah, looking at... I mean, everyone's going to be gone for Gameweek 38 punts because you're going to have at least 1 transfer, if not 2 available. So looking at Gameweek 38 punts now, Ben White or just an Arsenal defender against Wolves at home, an Arsenal midfielder, maybe a Martinelli, a Saka could be good. Bournemouth, maybe you could go Solanke. Brighton, everyone's already got Brighton players. Palace, you could go Zaha as a punt, maybe in midfield. Everton, wouldn't really recommend anyone maybe a defender for Everton. That could be a massive game for Everton in terms of keeping their season alive. I'll have to see how the season plays out. But if they want to stay in the Prem, this could come down to be a massive game for them. Liverpool, as you said, that could be a really good fixture. You go for a defender punt. I don't have Trent. Maybe I could go Trent or Liverpool forward as well. Could be really good. If you don't have triple United, any United player, whether it's Rashford or a defender, could be good. Spurs, you could go like a Pedro Porro maybe. Hope he gets forward. They get a clean sheet. Man City as well. It's not a standout fixture, but Man City always have good players. Probably wouldn't go any Villa. Probably wouldn't go any Chelsea. Wouldn't go any Leeds. And you wouldn't go any of these teams down here. So my favourites would probably be a Liverpool attacker, a Manchester United defender or attacker, and then an Arsenal player as well. Those are probably the standouts. And I mean, Arsenal, not many people do have players from Arsenal, so a lot of people will probably be going after their options. We'll have to see how that plays out as well. I'll actually have a look. What's Arsenal's side looking like this week? Yeah, Saliba's probably not going to be back for a while either, is he? So Ben White could be a good option there, defence. Martinelli, Saka, always good options. Jesus as well could be a good differential forward. He's just out of the budget range if I wanted to go for Jesus instead of Isak, which is a little bit annoying. We need an extra 1.3. That's going to be hard to make up unless we drop down Trippier to a minimum price defender. Or not necessarily minimum, but fairly cheap. Like a Castagna or something like that. And play Jesus. That's a possibility. That'll cost us 4 points though, which is not great for Gameweek 38. Actually, to be fair, I start Ramsdale as well. Wolves at home. Avoid the United double up. Yes, it's against Fulham at home, but I don't see Wolves scoring that many goals ever. Despite being a Wolves fan, we just do not create enough chances and do not look likely enough to score goals from open play. Boy, and I have Bruno, Grealish, March, Matoma, Salah, so I can't decide which one to switch for Rashford. So it's maybe Matoma or Grealish because of rotation, but he has a double in Gameweek 37. Yeah, it's a very, very strong midfield, to be fair. I mean, you probably want to keep Grealish for his double. Bruno Fernandes, I have said in the past I'm not a fan of Bruno Fernandes, but he has been getting into a lot better positions recently. He has definitely proven me wrong in the last couple of weeks. 11 in his first fixture, got himself a goal, got himself an assist, Gameweek 33. So he has started to pick up the FPL point scoring, and he's been looking a lot more dangerous. He was very unlucky not to have more points against Spurs as well. Hit the crossbar, probably should have scored that one. But yeah, I guess you could go for Matoma, just considering that midfield. Either March or Matoma. It's fair enough. Holding Manchester United players, I think, is smart. They've got such good fixtures for the rest of the year. Even when they're not doubling, their singles are good. Wolves at home is really good. Fulham at home is really, really good. So that's why I was really looking to target triple Manchester United in my team, because I love their fixtures. I'm not going to be able to get Fernandes in my team just because I already have 3 Man U players, but yeah, the fixtures are really good for the rest of the season. So definitely Bruno and Rashford could be good midfield options. And Bruno's pretty differential as well. So if he does do well, he's going to get you a solid rank rise. But with that transfer plan, Gameweek 35, roll, Gameweek 36, Isak comes in. That could also be Wilson. 37, hold Isak again. Look to bring in Stones and De Bruyne up to get the triple city. Chelsea at home and Brighton away. Chelsea at home is probably the better fixture, and they're in terrible form. So Man City could absolutely destroy them that week. I think Stones and De Bruyne are going to be really good. If it's not Stones, then it can easily be Diaz as well. I can just afford Diaz with 0.1 left. And I don't see Diaz rising in price either, so I could definitely go Diaz. But Stones has got really good attacking potential. And he did get himself an attacking return recently as well, I believe. John Stones. Yeah, the goal, Gameweek 33. Also a goal, Gameweek 31. So he's been very good. It's 3 consecutive 90-minute games in a row, which is good to see. Diaz, of course, he's more expensive, but he's hardly missed a game for Man City recently. I mean, look at that. Since Gameweek 23, he's played every game. So that's good. The only thing with Diaz, he doesn't have as much attacking potential as Stones. 0 goals, 0 assists this season. 1.4 XG. You're pretty much just paying for clean sheets. And if Man City don't get them, which they haven't really outside of this West Ham game recently, then you're not going to get too many points from him. Whereas Stones, even if he doesn't get a clean sheet, he's good at getting forward from corners and scoring header goals and whatnot. So maybe for 5.6 years worth of risk. I'll actually check Man City's team. What's Stone's chance of playing this week? %63%. So he is a bit of a doubt compared to Diaz with a 100% chance according to Fix. So clearly Diaz is the much preferred option for starting minutes or high chance of starting. But anyway, one of the two, Gameweek 37. I like that. It's pretty much just about maximising doubles now, isn't it? Triple Newcastle for 36, triple Brighton for 36. That's 6 doubling. We'll pull up the fixtures for Gameweek 36. Who else is... So it's just those two. Yeah. So that's the maximum players you can have doubling for 36, which is fine. And then all the other single Gameweek players are good. De Gea, Wolves at home. Rashford, Stella, Haaland, Kane. 3 really good single Gameweek players, these 3 premiums here, and then Rashford, De Gea both against Wolves. 37, 9 doublers, and then Kane and Isak as the 2 single Gameweek players. That's really good. You could also go for Trippier as well if you wanted to. But that's pretty much as good a team as you can get for Gameweek 37. I'd say De Bruyne will probably be pretty popular around that time as well, so I'm guessing his price will rise a little bit, which could make it harder to afford Diaz instead of Stones if I wanted to do that, go that way. And Gameweek 38, the team's pretty solid as well. Double Man U against Fulham at home. Go for the 1 week punt on Jesus maybe. If it's not Jesus, then I could go for a punt on another Arsenal player, maybe a defender option. Because Isak was initially in that team, right? What was the other move? Castagna was out. And I believe that was Trippier in there, right? Yeah, so 0... This was 0.1, but that was what the team was before, so we could try and go for a Liverpool player. If we wanted to go for a Liverpool defender instead of Trippier, what does that leave us? It was 6.0. Who can you afford? You can't really get anyone from Liverpool for that price unless you risk it with like a Kanate maybe, or a Gomez or a Matip and hope they start by the time Gameweek 38 comes around. You have to go for one of those guys. Maybe you do that. Or I just go Ben White as well. I think he could be a really good option. Good attacking potential. He's getting goals and assists recently. Wolves don't score that many goals. Swap him in for Isak. That's probably my favourite team for Gameweek 38 right now. Double Arsenal against Wolves at home. I could go double Manchester United against Fulham at home, or double Arsenal against Wolves at home. Super United Villa away is not bad. Stones Brentford away is not bad. Solid midfield. And pretty solid front two as well. So that's not a bad team for Gameweek 38 either. So teams looking pretty good for the rest of the season. 9 doublers 37, 6 doublers 36. Roll the transfer 35. Haaland captain. And hope we can push inside the top 100k. Considering 315k at this point in the season is not great. But with all these players doubling, should be good. This week, start Shaw or Trippier. I'd honestly start Luke Shaw. Trippier, his attacking returns have dropped off a lot recently. 1 assist Gameweek 29, but nothing since then. 6 weeks in a row now of consecutive blanks for Trippier. Newcastle, I don't think will get a clean sheet in this game. I think Arsenal will score, so that means you're going to be relying on a Trippier goal or assist, sorry. Whereas Luke Shaw, I think he's got a much better chance of a clean sheet. United's defence has been really good. If you pull up De Gea here, it's that 4 clean sheets in their last 6, and they conceded a goal in the 99th minute of the game against Brighton. That could have easily been another clean sheet if Luke Shaw didn't handball the ball and cost me 12 FPL points. Still very salty about that. I cannot believe he's done that. So I think I'd probably go Luke Shaw. The defence has been really good. Luke Shaw doesn't have as good attacking potential as Trippier. Let's have a look at his expected score involvement since he's come back. It's not been very high just because he's playing in more of a centre-back role, so he's just not getting very far forward. But to be fair, he was playing that centre-back role earlier on in the season, and he was able to tick over the attacking returns. What's he put up for the year now? 1 goal, 4 assists, so not bad. But I like the clean sheet potential more for Luke Shaw. So I'd probably start Luke Shaw over Trippier. In our team, I probably still have to play Trippier. Unfortunately, the bench isn't very strong this week with the Andreas injury. I wouldn't be able to play Andreas over Trippier anyway, but in terms of Botman or Henry, I'm not going to play Botman because Trippier has better attacking potential. And Henry, Liverpool away, I expect Brentford to concede in this one. And Brentford's defence, yeah, they've not been great in terms of clean sheets. 1 clean sheet since Gameweek 28. Henry, not massive in terms of getting assists this season. He's had a pretty good XA, 2.6. 3 assists on the year is not bad, but it's not monstrous. So I still got Kieran Trippier starting in my team. He's had a lot of attacking involvements, 1 goal, 7. But yeah, Trippier's an interesting one. A lot of people have held him. He's still got a very high ownership. I believe it's around 70% for the top 10k and around 70% around that 100 to 200k rank mark as well. So it's still very, very high. A lot of people have kept the faith in him. Hopefully he can repay some of that faith. I guess after Game Week 36, Trippier is not going to be very useful to your teams. Leicester at home. I mean, Leicester, despite being terrible this season, they've still managed to score goals. That's probably his best fixture. And then after that, Chelsea away is not a great fixture for Newcastle or Trippier either. So yeah, maybe after Game Week 36, you can look to sell Trippier from the teams. It'd be interesting to see what happens to his ownership at that time. I mean, maybe Game Week 36, we could look to get rid of Trippier. We could maybe make another transfer Game Week 37. Look to get another player doubling. That could, for a hit, that could be worth the risk just because we need to increase the rank at this point in the year. The only other team doubling is Chelsea. I mean, I've already got triple Brighton. I would already have triple Man City, and I would already have triple Man U. Which means I'd have to get in a Chelsea player if I wanted a doubler. If not, I go for Arsenal. Maybe I go for Ben White that week, and I could play Ben White over Isak. Isak's also going to be a good option for that week as well, so it doesn't really do us any favours taking a hit for it. Might as well just wait to Game Week 38 to bring in Ben White. And also maybe I get rid of March or Matoma as well. I mean, those guys will pull up their minutes and points. They haven't been the best recently. March, less than 90 minutes combined in the double game week, which is very annoying. Not a great expected score involvement as well. Less than 1 in, 6 consecutive games now with a highest of 0.59. Not a great XG either. He's more of an assister. 0.07, 0.06, 0.1, 0.1, 0.8, 0.1. So very, very low. The only issue is he's at such a low price. I could actually thinking about that if I wanted to keep Trippier Game Week 38. Was it Trippier that I replaced him for? Yeah. I could try and afford a move to one of the Arsenal midfielders, whether that's Martinelli. Maybe I do that. Hopefully I can figure out a way to get him in. By that time, potentially drop down Isak. So we can just go like a Greenwood or something like that. We could maybe do that, go on a punt for Martinelli. Wolves at home last week of the season. Samyam, start Watkins or Alvarez or Isak. That's a tough call this week. I like Watkins, Wolves away. He's dropped off slightly with the goals and assists. Nothing in his last 3. Not great expected goal involvements either in his last 3. If Alvarez, I don't think Alvarez is going to play. Haaland's got a 100% chance of playing. I'm looking at the Man City predicted team right now. Here's the predicted starting 11 for Man City. Edison, Ake, Diaz, Akanji, Stones, Rodri, Mahrez, Gundogan, Grealish, Foden, and Haaland. It's an interesting setup. Alvarez has been given a 9% chance to start, which is not the most promising, to be fair. So I wouldn't start Alvarez this week. Maybe go... I mean, Isak's not got a great fixture either. I think he is going to start. When you're comparing Isak and Wilson, Isak's got a 72% chance to play, Wilson with a 28. So I think Isak is going to have a better chance of starting. Also, he did get a bit more of a rest recently. Thomas, thoughts on Maddison with Fulham without Mitro, Pereira and Ream? Yeah, it's going to be a very weak Fulham side for the rest of the season. That Andreas Pereira injury was horrible watching that. He's going to be out for some time. I mean, I guess no, Mitrovic doesn't necessarily affect Maddison, but yeah, Maddison, he was an option a lot of people were looking to go for, to be fair. A couple of weeks ago, everyone was lining up those Leicester fixtures, and Maddison just hasn't put the points on the board. Had an assist against Leeds, Gameweek 33. That was pretty much it for him. Bit frustrating for his owners, but yeah, Fulham away is not a bad fixture. He's not got great fixtures after that though, so maybe as a 1 week punt you could go for it. Liverpool at home, Newcastle away is 2 pretty tricky fixtures, and he's just not had enough consistent point scoring. Potentially a bit unlucky. Well, obviously missed that penalty as well. Could have had a massive haul 34. If you scored that penalty, so you get -2 for missing a pen, so you add 7 to the score. That's 9 points. With a goal and an assist, he's probably on some bonus points as well. So that's a double-digit haul there. So yeah, if you're a Maddison owner, then definitely look to hold him this week and then move him on after that. Otherwise, if you're looking to bring him in on a transfer, I probably wouldn't look to make that move because you only really get 1 week usage out of him, and then you're selling him for Liverpool, Newcastle. But yeah, it's going to be interesting what people do with March and Matoma, just because there's a couple of other good midfield options coming through. There's Arsenal lads. Looking at their fixtures now, the next two, or even the next one, you could probably bring in some Arsenal players for Brighton at home. The last 3 are pretty good, so a lot of people have got rid of Saka, Martinelli. Maybe Gameweek 36, 37 is the time to get them back in. Obviously, Brighton do have those doubles, which makes them a lot more appealing. But there's going to be rotation as well. There's rotation risk with March, Matoma, McAllister. We've seen that in the last double game week, so it's probably going to continue for future double game weeks as well when it's a short turnaround. There's going to be significantly reduced minutes, like March, less than 90 minutes across the double. Matoma, he's coming off 90 minutes in his most recent game, so maybe he even gets arrested game week 35, which could be annoying. Only 34 minutes in game week 34. I'll have a look at Brighton's predicted lineup as well, just because they've got a game was 8th of May. That's pretty soon. Another 1 or 2 day turnaround between fixtures. They've given Matoma, McAllister, March all a strong chance of playing. I mean, Bonanonce could play, Undav could play, and Ciso could play. Those are the players that are going to kind of come in for March, McAllister, and Matoma. A lot of people have gone with Gross as well. Marco, what should I do with KDB and Grealish? Keep or sell? Oh yeah, also, if anyone did miss the comments about Kevin De Bruyne, I think he's going to be good to play. He's got a really good predicted chance of starting. Pep's comments said that Kevin De Bruyne trained well after missing out on game week 34 with a couple of niggles that he picked up against Arsenal last week. The quote was, he trained yesterday and he trained well. Today we're going to train and we are going to decide after the training they had. So he said missing just 1 week, 10 days at this stage of the season is not a problem. It's the same with what happened to Nathan Ake. If he's fit, he can play. So I think, it's probably more positive comments. He doesn't give much away, to be fair, saying if he's fit, he can play. But saying that he trained well, definitely a good sign for De Bruyne. And he's got a good predicted chance of playing. So I think you definitely hold De Bruyne. Same with Grealish as well. I was looking at our transfer plan. We bring it back to game week 35. Here's the team this week. We roll the transfer. Game week 36, we just make the one move, which was... What was the move we made again? It was Isak coming in for Newcastle's double. And then after that, it was looking to bring in De Bruyne. So I think holding on to De Bruyne is going to be smart. You want to try and keep those Man City players for the double in 37. We could try and go Grealish in if we wanted to get him in instead of Stones, but it's going to be very hard to, just because we don't have much money in the bank. And, I don't want to get rid of Matoma, March, or Rashford because they're 3 players doubling anyway. And to afford Grealish up from Andreas is going to be very, very hard to do. So maybe if we didn't want to go for Stones, I can't remember who... Refresh the page, actually. We'll just take it through the transfers again. So 35, here's the team. Bang, roll the transfer. 36, make the move. Watkins out. We go Isak or Wilson in. Doesn't really matter. We'll just go Wilson here for now. we'll have to see. Also, based on Gameweek 35 information, we'll have to see what to do with the Newcastle lads. Marco, thanks, man. All good, bro. No worries. If anyone else has got any questions, always drop them in the comments. Also, if you guys are enjoying the stream, drop a like and subscribe as well. We're trying to hit 12,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So if you're enjoying the stream, give a bit of support. I do appreciate the love, appreciate the subscription. That'd be awesome. So that's a team 36. I reckon that's good. That's the maximum number of doublers. Triple Newcastle, triple Brighton. Sorry, we'll bring on Botman, start him. Luke Shaw, that's 6 players doubling. 37 comes around. That's still 2 free transfers available. Salah, getting rid of him is going to be tough to do, but maybe in place of De Bruyne, could be worthwhile. That gives us 1.5. That's a bit of extra money in the bank. We could go Wilson to Alvarez. That's a potential move that we make. Or, on the other hand, we could go Trippier to Stones. It just depends whether we want to go Alvarez for Wilson or Trippier for Stones. So Stones for Trippier. That gives us a lot of money in the bank. That's also could be, if we do this transfer strategy, that could be good in facilitating a move for Gameweek 38, which involves going for a 1-week punt on this man, which we should just be able to afford. 0.4 left in the bank. Wolves at home for Jesus. That could be I think a move we look to make. And slot in Luke Shaw there for Kieran Trippier. Maybe that's the move we look to make for the rest of the season. Ramsdale, probably play him over De Gea just to avoid the double up. Wolves at home is a good fixture for Arsenal. That's a pretty solid transfer plan. I do like that a bit more than the one I initially did earlier on in the stream. I think Jesus is a good one. I probably wouldn't want to go an Arsenal defender for Trippier instead of an Arsenal forward for Alvarez, just because then I'd be doubling up on Arsenal's defence, which is a little bit risky. And Jesus is going to be a good option in the forward line as well, whereas Alvarez, Brentford away, is probably going to get rested then. So that could be a strategy. Raphael, Edison, Trippier, Estupiñán, Trent, Salah, Grealish, Marsh, Matoma, Rashford, Isak, Haaland. What do you think of my team as a 3-5-2? I think it's a very, very good side. I think Edison as well should be back based on the comments by Pep. It seemed like it was just that 1 week of rest. He should be all good to go. Trippier, he's going to be good for 36. You got Estupiñán doubling 36. You got Trent still with that couple of good fixtures coming up as well. Was it 35, 36, 37? That could be, Trent obviously with just the singles, but he's going to be a good option. You could also swap Trent later on down the line to a Man City defender. That could be a potential option, or a Manchester United defender as well, because you don't have any United defenders in there. So potentially bringing in an option for 37 when Manchester United have a really good double. Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home. Especially from a defensive standpoint, Chelsea have not scored many goals. Neither have Bournemouth. That could be a good chance to bring in a Man U defender for Trent. But for now, I think he's a good hold. Salah, Grealish, March, Matoma, Rashford's a great midfield. And Isak and Haaland, 2 forwards that still have doubles left in the season, is really good. So you already got Shaw, Botman agreement on the bench. Yes, you could go for another Man U defender. Maybe you double up on them. On their defence. I've got a double up on Manchester United's defence right now. So we'll have Luke Shaw starting like that. That's the team 37. This is it's 9 players doubling. Just 2 single gaming players, which is Kane and Trippier, which are 2 pretty solid single gaming players. Bench Tony for March in. That's a tough call. I would expect March to play. That's the one thing I say with March. He's only played 27 minutes in his last game. So you definitely expect him to play. He's hardly played any minutes in the double, so he should be pretty fresh for Everton at home. Whether you want to bench Tony as well. Who have Brentford got? Liverpool away. I'd probably bench Tony and have March play. I like that. What to do with Jota? Bought him in last week. Yeah, Jack, that's a tough one, bro. That's a tough situation. Unlucky if you bought in Jota. I said it on a couple of deadline streams ago, Jota was going to be the biggest FPL troll for the rest of the season. I don't think I'm too far off that call, It was a little bit controversial at the time after he got himself a solid haul. He had this game where he came off the bench and got himself that late winner for Spurs. Yeah, I said that game at 33. Just because I'm not sure of his rotation, but based on the comments by Klopp, it seems that Jota's not going to be not going to be good for game week 35. I'll just read out the comments Klopp made about Jota. He said he's been out of train but hasn't done much in the way of contact work. The quote was, Zergo has his back issue, the bruised rib. He could train yesterday, but he couldn't do a lot, to be honest. He was not really endangered yesterday with any kind of contact or stuff like this. We'll have to see there. So it seems that he's been back in training, but it's not been doing much contact training, which is not ideal in terms of indicating that he's going to be good to go for the next upcoming game week. So I'm not sure Jota's going to play. I don't think he's got a good chance of playing game week 33. I checked his predicted lineup for fantasy football fix. It was only a 33% chance to play for Jota in game week 33, which is not ideal. So unfortunate that you did just bring him in, but maybe it's a chance to move him out of the squad. Only single game weeks for Manchester United, for Liverpool for the rest of the year. And there's a lot of good midfielders doubling up for the rest of the season. Grealish is doubling. You got those Brighton lads doubling. Manchester United lads are doubling. Replace Jota with Diaz. I mean, I probably wouldn't look to go for any Liverpool players for the rest of the year now. I don't think now's the time to be bringing in Liverpool options. Yes, they've got good fixtures, but they're all single game weeks. Brentford, Leicester, Villa, Southampton. 4 solid fixtures. But I'd still be looking to lean towards those players with the doubles. Paul, how's it going, mate? Jota to Wilson. Yeah, I like the move, bro. I think that's a great move. Getting in the Newcastle options is a great call. 36, they got the double. It makes sense. Liverpool just with the singles. And yeah, Jota, obviously not great chance of playing. Jack, yeah, Daddy's going to get a full 90 for the rest of the season. Yeah, the thing is, Jota's got so much competition for his players. Diaz is there. I mean, Nunes is always sitting on the bench. Firmino's probably... That was a good point. Someone made the comment, I can't remember who it was earlier on in the stream, that Firmino may get a game in the last week of the season for Liverpool, just because it's going to be his last game. Aidmac83, thanks for the reply. No worries, bro, of course. Anyone's got always any questions, always drop them. It's always much appreciated. Jack, that is a question right now, bro. Wilson or Isak is such a tough call right now. In terms of game week 35, I think Isak is more likely to play. Fix, I've got Isak at a 72% chance. Wilson's at a 28% chance. So Isak 70, Wilson roughly 30. Looking at their minutes, last game, Isak 90. What did Wilson get? I don't think he got massive amount, unless I'm wrong there. 45. It's such a tough call. I think Isak gets the nod game week 35, but it's hard to call. He's got a slightly higher chance, 70 to 30 roughly for Isak. But yeah, by the time the double game week 36 comes around, I think they're going to have pretty much even minutes, to be honest, Wilson and Isak. So in terms of their underlying numbers, Wilson is very, very good. I was actually looking at expected goals per 90. How's this for a stat? Wilson, second highest expected goals per 90 out of any player in the Premier League this season that has played 1,000 minutes. That's only behind Erling Haaland. Wilson has the second best expected goals per 90, which is ridiculous. It's about 0.75, which is absolutely massive. He's coming in at 7 mil. Yes, his minutes obviously inconsistent, but he's extremely good at getting into good positions. He's pretty clinical as well. 15 goals now for the season is monstrous for Callum Wilson. It's superb work from him. 5 goals in his last 3 games as well. So maybe you go for Callum Wilson. When it comes to game week 36, Isak's probably going to get a rest as well. Wilson's been getting into really good positions. So maybe you go for Callum Wilson. A bit more of a differential option as well. And you're comparing their ownerships. What's Isak? He's about 10%, I believe. Yeah, 10.8. Wilson was 4% earlier on in the week, but I'm guessing that would have definitely climbed. 6.6 now. So I'm thinking, I don't know what to do in my... I was looking at the transfer planner for 36. I'm thinking of a 1 week punt 36, either Wilson or Isak. Then 37 comes around. I look to go Wilson or Isak to Alvarez as a 1 week punt. Then 38 comes around, 1 week punt to Jesus. So 3 1 week punts on forwards. That's what I'm thinking for the rest of the season. But maybe Wilson, just because I like his per 90 numbers are superb. Castan, replace Jota with Havertz, then to Wilson in 36. I have 2 free transfers. I'm not sure. Yes, Chelsea have the double in, was it 36 they have the double? Or 37? I think it's 37 they have the double. I just don't like any Chelsea outfield players, to be honest. But Wilson or Isak for 36, I think is going to be a great call. Those two guys are going to be really good differential options that can help you guys increase the rank for sure. And me as well. I need the rank increase. Jesus Christ, look at the rank. Paul Jota to Alvarez and captain him if we get early team news. Interesting take. I mean, Alvarez, according to Fix, has a 9% chance to play, which is not great. But Alvarez 37, I think, is going to be a good call. Someone touched on earlier, there's going to be rotation with Champions League fixtures. We saw Alvarez get good minutes in the most recent double game week, even without Champions League fixtures interrupting the double game week recently. We'll pull up Alvarez's numbers. Really good minutes in the double game week in 34. He's very clinical. When he gets his chances, 0.7 XG, got himself the goal, also got himself an assist as well, which is good to see. He's got really good per 90 numbers, Alvarez. So I think he's going to be a good option for 37, to be honest. I think he could be a really good differential punt. In terms of this week, maybe not quite solid in game week 35, but definitely future double game weeks. I like Alvarez as the third Man City slot. He could honestly be a better option than Jack Grealish for the rest of the season, Alvarez. McAllister worth transferring in for March from -4. Probably not quite worth it, in my opinion. In terms of the better pick from Brighton, McAllister or Gross, probably McAllister just because he's got the PKs and free kicks as well, which we saw prove fruitful for him in the most recent week. They're pretty similar position from open play. It's just that McAllister has the free kicks and pens. FPL Diamond Wilson Isak will turn out to be another Dennis/King from last season. How good was Dennis last season? If anyone played FPL last season and had Dennis in their team, he was actually a little gem. There was some weeks where he was really good. I remember I had him in my team one double game where he got like the red card, and I think I might have had him captained. If it was like -1 captain down to -2, that was horrendous. But apart from that week, he was good to own. Thomas chasing my mini league, so my team is Kepa, Robbo, Trippier, Stones, Estupinian, Matoma, Salah, Madison, Rashford, Haaland, Wilson. Thoughts? A really solid team. Once again, I love that team. The other thing I'd say you could look to do is go Robbo to a Man U defender. Not necessarily this week because Brentford home's a good fixture. But for Wolves at home, I believe it's 36 is Wolves at home for Man U. Yeah, that's a really good fixture. Then they have the double. Bournemouth, Chelsea is an excellent double from a defensive standpoint. Two sides that haven't scored that many goals this year. Chelsea have really struggled to score goals, so having a Man U defender for 37 could be really good. And 38, Fulham at home once again. So yeah, potentially going to a Man U defender 36. I like that move for your team. Who is first choice PK, Wilson or Isak? That will help me make my choice. That's such a tough call as well. I actually could come down to who's on the pitch at the time, to be honest. There's not been... I mean, yes, they have had spells where they're both on the pitch at the same time, but it seems to be that they rotate in their minutes a lot. So it could just come down to who's on the pitch. If they're both on the pitch at the same time, I'd probably say Isak. Just because he scored penalties prior. FPL Diamond, Trippier hasn't got a good return since game week 29. Can't see him doing anything versus Arsenal. Yeah, I know, bro. He's not a great option this week, but looking at our bench, the bench is a dire situation, but not a massive concern because we're coming towards the end of the season and Botman's going to be good for double game week 36. But I'm not necessarily going to play Botman ahead of him just because he's not got as good attacking potential as Trippier. Henry... Probably not going to play him. Liverpool away. I wouldn't expect a clean sheet. Only one clean sheet since game week 28 and not a great amount of attacking returns, 3 assists on the season. So yeah, while Trippier is not ideal to have starting for me this week, I definitely agree with that at that point. But the bench, not the strongest. Will Haaland and Alvarez both start? It's definitely a possibility. I mean, Fix don't favour Alvarez to start this week, but I would not be surprised if they do because... the formation and the plays that they've got Man City in their attack. Let me just read out their predicted attack right now. Mahrez, De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden, Haaland. I don't see how Mahrez, Grealish, and Foden all play in the same starting 11. Like, surely one of them drops out to Alvarez, and then it turns into a sort of a 4. I mean, and then it becomes a 2 up top with Alvarez and Haaland. That's probably what's more likely. Like a 3-5-2 sort of formation. So I think Alvarez could be starting this week, man. Wouldn't be surprised. Haaland definitely is starting. He's got a really good predicted chance to start according to Fix. I think it's like 100%. So that's fills me with quite a lot of confidence. I might go Grealish to Foden too. I still don't have Rashford. I'd probably go Grealish to Rashford then. I wouldn't look to get another Man City player. I like Rashford still. How many Aussies watch your stream? I was looking at our audience breakdown. Most of it is from the UK still, just because obviously Premier League is extremely popular and FPL very popular in the UK. I think it actually goes the UK, then India, then Australia, just because India have a massive population in general, and they get around the Prem. I would have never expected it, but they do get around the Prem, to be fair to them. And then I think Australia's like 3rd or 4th. Marco, great life, man. I appreciate the support, bro. Also, just want to say, if anyone isn't, or if people are enjoying the stream, drop a like. It does help out the stream. Also, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 12,000 subs by the end of the season. So if you're liking what you're seeing, show a bit of love with the like and subscribe. Jared, my mini league rival has Rashford and I have Grealish. Should I use my free transfer to go Grealish to Rashford to cover him? That's an interesting one, actually. I think Rashford will outscore Grealish for the rest of the season. But if you want to take the risk, hold Grealish. Maybe if you can keep hold of Grealish just because he's got the double and then look to get someone else out for Rashford. You're 20 points ahead. If you're 20 points, that's smart. 20 points ahead, Grealish to Rashford, lock in the lead in the mini league. Martinelli to Mahrez. Interesting one. I think Mahrez could be a good pick as well. Shouldn't have much competition on his side. Maybe from Bernardo Silva. Mahrez has been given an 88% chance to play by Fix. The other thing I would say with those Arsenal assets, you'll probably look to get them out 36 or 35, 36 just because there's going to be other players doubling. But at 37, 38, Forest away, Wolves at home, I wouldn't be surprised if people look to try and get the Arsenal players back in for one of these 2 weeks, at least for Gameweek 38 as a single Gameweek punt. That's actually something that I'm looking to do, is bring in Jesus for Gameweek 38 on a 1 week punt. 37 as well, Forest away is a really, really good fixture. So just keep that in mind as well. Martinelli could come in handy later on in the season if you wanted a 1 week punt for Gameweek 38. You've already got Martinelli there. Maybe you could go for another Arsenal player as well. But that's just something to consider. I'm in the same boat with Rashford. I don't want him. No Liverpool fan should have him. I think he's going to be necessary for the rest of the season. I said it in my last live stream. Rashford and Haaland are my only players that I would say are absolutely 100% compulsory for the FPL teams for the rest of the season. Rashford's got an 85% ownership around the top 100k, which is huge, so everyone's flocked to getting back in. Look at the fixtures. This week's his hardest week, and it's West Ham away, which is not even that hard comparatively to the other fixtures that the other teams have. Wolves at home is excellent. The double is so good. I think this is such an underrated double. Bournemouth and Chelsea is such a good double for Manchester United. Fulham at home, such a good fixture as well. Rashford could honestly sneak up to be the highest scoring mid for the rest of the year. That could honestly be a hot take. Yes, the Brighton lads have the 2 doubles, but there could be some rotation with, McAllister, March, Matoma. De Bruyne, probably going to be another top scoring midfielder, but Rashford, I would not be surprised if he's the highest scoring mid, to be honest. Any Man City leaks? I mean, I can give you the predicted team. Just going over it, Edison. It's Edison in goals, 94% chance. He should be back into the team. They've got them playing a back 3 like they've sort of been playing in recent weeks of Ake, Diaz, Akanji. Ake 74%, Diaz 100%, Akanji 95%. Got Stones and Rodri in midfield there. Stones 63, Rodri 100. Got Mahrez, De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden, which is really, really good. So I think it's It's interesting midfield, like attacking a bunch of midfielders there. Mahrez, De Bruyne, Grealish, Foden. I don't really see how that's a realistic formation by fantasy football fix. I'm not sure about that call. I think Alvarez starts for one of Mahrez, Grealish, or Foden. But if you just base it off starting percentages, they're giving Grealish 100% chance, Mahrez 88%, Foden 66%. So it seems Grealish and Mahrez the two more favoured ones. De Bruyne has been given a 100% chance as well. But yeah, Alvarez at a 9% chance, I honestly disagree. I think Alvarez has a better chance of playing. He's been in good form. And I think he does start ahead of either Foden, Mahrez, or Grealish, in my opinion. Salah or De Bruyne? This week, I'd say Salah. Brentford at home, a good fixture. Leeds at home is a really good fixture. But Salah, his home form has been superb. His form in general has been very, very strong. He's now blanked once only since game week, 29, 5, 14, 7, 2, 7, 11, 8. That's 18 combined and double. Game week 34. Underlying numbers are really, really good. Expected goal involvements of over 1 each of his last two. 0.74 there, 0.7 there, 2.37 there. And the home form's been really strong. A goal against Arsenal at home there, goal against Forest at home there, goal against Spurs at home there, goal against Fulham at home there. So he's been very, very strong at Anfield. So I think Salah is the player to hold this week. I should take you through really quickly what I'm thinking of doing with Salah and De Bruyne, because it is definitely a key talking point on what to do with them. 35 is Salah. Currently I've got 36 as Salah. Leicester away I think is a slightly better fixture than Everton away. But, I mean, much of a muchness there. You could easily go for De Bruyne that week, but I'm just looking to make the one transfer, then roll it to 37, where we do go Kevin De Bruyne in for Mo Salah. He could also be a differential captain that week, Kevin De Bruyne. So, yeah, get in De Bruyne for the double, and then 38, hold De Bruyne as well. Brentford away is a pretty good fixture. Saying that, Liverpool, I believe, is it Southampton away, game week 38 as well? Was it? It was. So maybe you could go back to Salah 38, but I'm planning to switch to De Bruyne 37. Sir Marcus Rashford to Diaz. I love Rashford as an option though in FPL. Harry Zinchenko or Stones to Estupinian. I'd probably go Zinchenko just because Stones still has that double. Foden over Grealish. Interesting. If Wilson and Isak both on the pitch, who takes the pen? And I would probably say Isak, just because he's scored pens throughout the season. I would probably say Isak. Paul, where in Australia are you from? We're from Melbourne. Is your first name Flair? No, my first name's Jack. Yeah, we're from Melbourne. Is anyone else from Australia in the chat? Actually, we've got 100 people. Also, if anyone's enjoying the stream, drop a like as well. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content. We're trying to hit 12,000 subs by the end of the season. There's going to be knee-jerk reaction video coming tomorrow. Some transfer plans, which we've touched on here. But, of course, things can change quite a lot in the span of one game week. So there could be injuries that could dictate a future transfer plans. We're going to be posting transfer plans probably Monday. Team selection will be around Tuesday as well. We'll go over a really good wildcard template as well, or a free hit template, because there's going to be doubles coming up 36, obviously, as you can see here. That's sort of what we're thinking for 36, triple Brighton, triple Newcastle, 37, triple Brighton again, triple Manchester United, triple City. So we'll kind of factor in my favourite wildcard team for that point in time. Why do you say we? Because my brother is the editor for the channel as well, and I like to think of it as a combined channel as well. He does the editing, the graphic designing, all the elite graphics you see on screen right now. Ben, the editor for the channel, has been able to produce. That's why I always like to say we. It's not just me. And thumbnails, of course. He's telling me to let you guys know he does the thumbnails as well. The thumbnails are bangers. I love the thumbnails. I'm going to begin to wrap up the stream now, guys. I'm going to have to go, unfortunately. But any last questions, let me know. Once again, if you've enjoyed the stream, drop a like and subscribe as well. Last couple questions. Who do you think is more likely to score more points this week? Shaw or Trippier? The rest of my defence is locked with Stones and Trent. I'm saying Shaw. I'm saying sure. Trippier, Arsenal at home. I expect Newcastle to concede 6 blanks in a row for Trippier. Look at Manchester United's defence quickly. Really, really strong recently. De Gea, he's put up 4 clean sheets in the last 6. Unlucky for no clean sheet against Brighton. Had that penalty they conceded in the 99th minute. That could have easily been another clean sheet. And West Ham away, a slightly better fixture from a clean sheet perspective. Monkey, I'm enjoying you from France and enjoying your stream. Nice, bro. Good to see people from around the world. Last question, Jared. So would you hold Grealish for this week? I can always change Fernandes to Rashford, but I think Fernandes is a good differential, and my main league rival has him. Yeah, Fernandes is a great differential, I agree. I would definitely hold Grealish for this week. I think he's got a good chance of playing. Leeds at home is a great fixture, and you can keep him in your team for double Gameweek 37. So yeah, I like what you're saying. But that's pretty much the team this week, guys. I'm liking the side for this week. Haaland captain, Salah vice captaincy. Then I've got the transfer plans. Probably going to go Wilson or Isak in for Watkins next week as well. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned into the stream. Good luck to everyone as well for Game Week 35. Let me know how you guys get on in the comments sections of our future FPL videos. Once again, if you've enjoyed the stream, drop a like and subscribe as well. I do appreciate all the love and people tuning in to this stream. And yeah, best of luck for everyone for Game Week 35. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.